Hello everyone, it's Erui and welcome to another video of the Great Ace Attorney gameplay, and now I'm going to play the episode 2 with the title of The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band, and I'm just going to start right ahead and okay.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which she referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
January 9th at 6:37 a.m.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. I need cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
Ugh, my head's throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Wait, I can't move. The hell? Ah, the why am I in handcuff? So you wake up now. Oh, it's the I. We had to drag you out of the I don't know. I don't remember the voice. I do not believe in how you wake up. You're a true cold-blooded man. Huh? You found me then. Duh, we found you, and now you pay, criminal. It's German? How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe? Hmm? Sorry. Now that you have been found, it is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is. Hmm. Oh no. I tell you everything. There's only one thing that I'll let you know from you. Isn't that? It's her. Sato. How how did you do it? How did you take his life? Miss Susato? Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Um, where is he? Where's Kazuma? Oh no! Ha! You pretend you do not know? You are a wolf in the ship's belt. You are a killer. Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-sama body was discovered not long ago. Oh no, he's dead. He died here in this very cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. His body. Please, do not try to tell us you were doing these terrible things in your sleep. Zuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs. Surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. Well then. No. No! Well, that's unexpected twist? What the hell, man? Just 2 short weeks ago. It's him. Are you sure about this? When we get in trouble. Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. With that Russian crew, man, just toss your traveling case onto the floor. Oh, it's Russia. I thought I was going to die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think that you'd be able to fight inside my trunk. You must be even less of a human than you look. Hey, honestly, I thought they broke every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in the Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians won't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotoba, you mean? From your close friend. More to the point, surely we could confide in her, wouldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if you knew that would be done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about the time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you better get in there. I think it won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be all for it. I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I tell you what, why don't you write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. We only been at the sea for about 15 days. How can this happen? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. It's Russia, okay, Russia. Um, Russia. Now we leave you in the airport. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer? No, I'm not a murderer. Zah. You said before. You said that you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but murdering your best friend? Murdering my best friend. When all us have done it, admit the truth. That's so sad. Please tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something that I would like to ask of you too. The size. She likes sleeping. She really destroyed me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. Oh, Kazuma's dead. Yeah. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And this handcuffs. They think I did it. They think I'm Kazuma's killer. When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from outside. In other words, of the crime, the culprit could have escaped these 4 rooms. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside the cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? Is still going to deny this charge, even despite the circumstances. Please, the son, you have to tell me. Because of that is still undetermined. They don't know how he died. The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course he has no post-mortem analysis experience. And I do suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external sign of injury then. That's true, yes. About the incident, tell me. Can anybody tell me what's actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? But presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. Whatever you say, you were here in cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but we'll always wake before the dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead? Doesn't arrive at his cabin door, I wonder. I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a better member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside, there was Kazuma-sama collapsed on the floor. Oh no. And the white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. No idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. It wasn't the case, but that is a very hard to believe. It's all very hard to believe for me too. Trust me. Now that I'm telling you everything that I know, so it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. My head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. No way. Are you from on this ship, Narcotisa? You said something before being stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I, that you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Well, yes, you did say that, but I don't think you were serious. You have a talent for it, I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Kazuma-sama is... He always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. Look in his eye then. It was darker than I've ever seen it before. So that's sad. I'm sorry that we kept it secret from you. My stowing away on the ship. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to distract me to avoid me becoming a guilty by association. That's exactly right. Yes, word perfect. In fact, let's check the last night. If you're not the culprit, then tell me what happened last night there in this cabin. Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Zuma brought me something to eat. I just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed. Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really I do, but it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I won't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Uh, is something wrong? Oh, no, it's please forget it. Little-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it. I, I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there is no one else who could possibly have done this. Uh, Kazuma, I don't understand why. Why did this have to happen? Ah, I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry. But Kazuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around, my hand tied, while whoever did this walked free? No, I can't allow that happen. Well, what do you want to propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life and how and why they did it. So, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Hey! My god. What the? That was a Susato takedown. A Susato what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry, prove it. Yes, you're innocent. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to? Have you forgotten already? What you achieved just a few weeks ago. You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. She's been expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Sutatsu-san to believe me. I'll show her evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime.
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovered in this wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over in the door? Stuck over the doors? Ah, yes, it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah, yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you built that sign from the wardrobe's door before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I could have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the door on my own. That's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Well, even you are sprawled helplessly on the floor. I can see why Kazuma-sama thought of so highly of you. Thank you, Sutato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Well, in the light of recent evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me? I'm sorry, no. What? I'm, sh- I'm, I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you use some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. What does you think I am, a magician? For now, I just suggest you to investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, that's the sun. Please don't mean that. Please don't mean misunderstood me. I still have my doubts. Oh, oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I don't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. Here, examine. What do you think it is? It's like a broken piece of glass wire. Whatever that thing was, it may have clean too. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke feather from a kimono fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He won't have secretly carry a cute little trinkets like this around with him, would he? And what besides it? What is it? I wonder. It has sort of direct brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It is the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I didn't see anything of the same color everywhere else in the cabin. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, son? Whenever I'm examining things, I will find myself so focused, I forget to look around properly. Ah yes, that's not good. I suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? I'm sure you're careful to look all around using PM. Are you? Aren't you? Now let's investigate all the corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do it. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Wow. Isn't that some kind of opening for a ventilator? A hole through which fresh air can circulate into cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it will appear too, you're right. But if its purpose to is allowed to fresh air into the cabin, how can I? That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that. I suppose maybe that's it. Truly, but I can't find anything. Please. Some 2 weeks since we sailed from Japan. You really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? Uh, I think living isn't quite the right description. It, well, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come, so yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. Alright. Just because of that, you had no idea what happening. Yeah, let's check other thing. The obvious things. Sure. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. And I suppose he writes his message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama, no doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of clue in his final moment, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What? Then what language is this? Is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? It's not. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memory for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away in this vessel. I was brought on the board inside that case. Ah yes, I see. It says this way up in Japanese. Which in hindsight I should have realized the foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Tasso takedown. It's already. This is. Yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull or to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a try? Yes, in the interest of cultural research, obviously. Oh, I suppose nobody counts for all we Japanese people. No, no. I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy. That's all. Uh, this is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. Oh, London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete, which means what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened. Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Ah, yeah, that's out of the question. What? Azuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But but what if something important, something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it. Poor Kazuma-sama. I didn't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, it isn't the need for clues more important? The hell? Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he? You noticed the man too, haven't you? I have no idea who he is or how he get in here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. Never got a son, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Mm, well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's death or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it or does Sutasu-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press space on people when they're in crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, and please do. First. Excuse me. Excuse me. Do you have a moment? This a critical point in my investigation. My investigation. Okay, it's make a quite British accent. Huh? Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. What the hell? Sorry. Oh, okay. Ah, greetings. Hmm, what exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. 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 Sorry? What do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. Ah, yes. Everything's clear now. S- Monsters. The train of reason has run its course. My deduction have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not mistaken. Sorry, what? And now, we're still venturing toward foreign climes. You find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Okay, my accent is all over. Okay, well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that? Perhaps, British accent, British. It was a really most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. And there is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. You left 16 victims of assassination in your wake and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the beer ribbon occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing to deceive these eyes. Um, just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Or do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution too? It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, listen. Hiya! Again. The truth down. Explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How can you do it? For pity's sakes, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, or obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying for the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing toward the foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Huh. There you have it. You see. What do you make of that? Hmm. Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, well, I'm really sure you could call it a deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of travels you see. I announce my findings without brassy certitude, and more often than not, I'm right. Uh, I don't think you introduce yourself. My apologies. How remiss of me. None other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women all the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. So, it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes? The very same, imitable, actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Sota-san? The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san. Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? You must ask him what he's deduced. He will have a work out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Great detective. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what's your name again? Indeed, I'm none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Herlock? Was it? No, her. I mean, I have hair. Please, call me Holmes. You can read all of my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rant magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from the Great Britain. I'll never miss an issue. I have sent from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you're the protagonist in the series of short stories then? Indeed, I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think you really are a detective? Make no mistake, I'm not the poor, the little fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records of my greatest detective achievements and chronicles of them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to the publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment, I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can work out whether I should take this mystery or not. A deduction, you see, is to me a science, logical reasoning, in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer noticed even the most subtle overreaction in the subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeve, pores in the skin. All these things are a tattoo. Right. And the trail logician makes deduction from this data in the blink of an eye. But the ultimate conclusion is, without a fail, the truth. Sai demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can he look me in the eyes and claim that? As you see, I have a term both for observation and for deduction in a thing. And that is how make the one and only her, no, Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, let's see. Kazuma's dead. Let's ask him about that. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Or have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow, how do you suppose to discover the culprit in its most cunning, hating place? That's right. It was done other than the great detective before you now, my Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in this now because of him. When I was became anxious about Kazuma-sama's this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their numbers, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for myself, everyone, the great detective Sherlock Holmes was on board. And handcuffs seems to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah! The first moment I laid on the screen, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really? Two facts, you say? Facts. Mr. Holmes, tell us please. What two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Oh, yes. But first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand, but what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced for a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crimes were as follows. Number 1. The cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of question. Number 2. The victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Schultz. Why do you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. Rather, I can read Russian, sorry. That's Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think that Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, however, may find their native tongue filling their hate for this young man Russian. Kazuma was Russian. Was he? Initially, I considered Garderobe may be the name of the killer. A certain A robot guard, perhaps. But in the interest of the trueness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you find Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly? But so, why found you? A renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my reserves, the outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Asking for the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. This This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. It was the first time I actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, mm, yes. Thank you. Oh yeah, the murder of the crime scene has been entered into the court records. Okay. One moment. Can I ask you something, Mr. Schultz? What? Try. You mentioned Russian before as well. Did you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all of that? Ah, yes, the train reasoning that led me to the truth. Do you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me? Do you think? Why, certainly, if it interests you. How many times I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Okay, your deduction just now. Oh, can we talk about your deduction before things you concluded about me? I mean, the now famously accurate troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 Park. Ah, yes, more sordid detail. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads: the revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. The vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was a Kazuma Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was a Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who killed the very man who helped me to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik. No, no, no. How could it be me? It doesn't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you may have no doubt to learn to revolutionize your appearance as well. Uh, please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. And need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details, the 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower? Ah, yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particular notes. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do, do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters? I wonder. And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article, Bolshevik is recently returned from a period of subservice activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself. A little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. Observe all of it interesting to me within pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. Okay, article about revolutionary. And you may find the article on the back page interesting as well. On the back, cast your eyes over it sometimes if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russia. I can hope to read it, but I suppose it won't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe that might be a picture or two. Okay, let's see. That's interesting. Maybe find something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no, I mean, look, it might be something interesting. I can read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. I'm glad you noticed the article. Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. The pops are everywhere. This Mr. Cholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned Prime Minister, prima ballerina of the Novovik Ballet, disappeared from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. And she is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russians' names so hard to remember? It would appear that a woman was in this costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room. wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth more than 20,000 rubles. Rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure. It must be an unbelievable sum of money. The suns are shining like diamonds themselves. The trio is property of the Novovic Ballet. It seems that the director is beside herself, Erui. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance of all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of Russian fleeing his or her country? That seems to be Russian things to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, were you? Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim. Do you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that victim was engaged in penning some text. London diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. But I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you read it already? It is my business to know what others people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a sad to take down is. Son, are you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter of hands, and namely this diary belongs to the victim. It will appear the final sentence is complete, as if the authors were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of this writing? Pray be precise as to the details. Right. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. Smuttering, dear boy, smuttering. Sayonara bonsai, Mikado Naru Naru. I trust you're so suitably impressed. Huh. This diary is littered with complicated looking characters, of which I can, can read precisely none. Oh, was all that showing off before then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. How much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry in Kazuma-sama's diary of consists of just two short sentences. The first reads, 1 to 3 a.m. I can hear a faint of whistling sound. Whistling sound? The face are very, very deep waters. Pray, go on. 1 to 3 a.m. What looks like another sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator's grill. Speckled band? What on earth does this mean? I have no idea, but I've never heard that expression before. Ventilator's grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being at least. Do you have somewhere else to go? As it happens, the victim's writing in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation. I believe, and if I was still too long, the sickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the Valianters connect to? Great detective are curious bred. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We carve mental exhalation. So, yes, I tend to investigate, hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think, perhaps, that we could be, you know, do you think, perhaps, that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A single glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, this. After all, you're the prime suspect, and this matter not. There's no point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided on the property in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as a culprit to any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are very clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you just say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I would have said that you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really. So what? Were you looking at my niece before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. You are the culprit, and you must pay for the part of convincingly roll over and accept your fate. Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Naruto-san, what are you just standing there for? I must go investigate the cabin next door as well. Are you forgetting something? What about this? There's no way I can. Hey, yeah. After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? Ugh. As if you give me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can find to find a way out of this and bring the real culprit to justice. Yes, I'm back. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they've all toppled the same way. Was this a statue of some kind of sea? Although it's falling over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mown down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing this morning's swords training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage. I would have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Oh, damn it. This is a rule of passage for travel aboard the SS Bria. It's essentially a list of requests from a captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapon or other dangerous object in the cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. That's my dinner from last night, a roast chicken. It was really tasty. Ah yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, son. I ate it at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. He didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Ugh. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Tsuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that the Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on the trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. Okay, that's that. The Seigi, a Japanese word for justice. The brush strokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always a reflection of his heart. Yet you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully. Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on this ship? Now you're going to bring that up, are you? Why can't win? Talk to the man? Excuse me? What? I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Do you mind if I investigate a little outside? Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes. That is not true, I see. I'll make Russian, huh? Sorry? The criminal presents guard to help him escape. Very funny. Very funny. You're in the middle of the sea. There's no chance of me escaping. Yep. You stay in this cabin until next port. Then it's up to Hong Kong police to decide what they do to you. You stay. Right. There's no point trying to appeal to this man's better nature. That's for sure. No, I just repeat it now. Skip. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, this will have been confirmedly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there will be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. As she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and tried to draw a ball across the room from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm a fit reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There will be no missed possibility of using that needle and thread tricks here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up down my spine. Oh, look over there. The crewman, do you mean? He wasn't there before, was he? That's what I thought. I may try talking to him. Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again, but I'm suppose I could try. Is that... Is something wrong there, Hudson? Oh, no. It's just the crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling that I've seen him somewhere before. Ah, yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes, what can I do for you? Hey, I recognize that face, but it can't be. It's him. It is. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you. My heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board the ship. Again? You certainly seems to enjoy the undercover work, Inspector. If there's something I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board, but perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. I converse. That's passive. Special order, what do you mean? So, what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you so... Are you dressed as a member of the crew? I'm sorry. Hmm? This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asugi-san's bodyguard. It was the Minister of Justice Jiguku who pushed for this overseas study tour guide to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asugi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that if even have been a possibility? I'm not sure, but these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jigoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities. That's incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take any my oath of fame and entire time we've been on board from morning until night every day. But I've never imagined it would have happened here, inside his own cabin, not here on the first class deck. I felt miserable at my assignment, and Sogi-san is dead as a result. I'm disgraced. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector, there is anything at all that I can do to help now. Just say the word. We should investigate. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought that you may be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not a killer? Of course not. Would you really like to investigate the cabin next door? Yes. Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door, that stormy looking seaman there will surely snap your neck in two. I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible? To give me something to work with, do you think I'm going to need something persuasive? What do you mean? What do you mean? I had solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated. I do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how. There might be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruhodo-san. By presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? Is it the same as when you are in court? You must have done it many times during your trial. Please select the present panel and choose some evidence that Inspector Hosonaga could use. So, evidence that will give me a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes. I think I might know what we can use. Let's see if I can present the detective with it. Listen. Is present. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something that rather stretches his diary. Strange in what way? He wrote that looks like some kind of speckled pen is dangling from the ventilator grill. Real. A speckled pen? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that. But what I'd like to know is... Tell me. The ventilators, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. The ventilator clearly joins to the next door cabin. That's right. So if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled pen was. Dude, I can leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The guy has given me strict order to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes. As long as you don't leave the first class cabin area, I'm afraid I can remove those handcuffs too. But what about the captain? Are you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my words. And I promise you that I will lay my hands on the line if that way it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asoke-san safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. This is the moment then, Daruhodo-san. Just select move and we can leave this cabin at last. Move. Alright, let's see what we can find. What we can find out. Back. That's it for the part one of the episode two, and we're going to find another clue in the next part. Until then, like, comment, subscribe if you like this video. If you, yeah, see you guys in the next part. Bye.